Hiya dudes and dames and welcome. Today it's just gonna be a small story time so you won't miss anything by having this pushed in the background. The Illuminati. Most likely the most mentioned conspiracy of today. At the same time, it is probably one of the best examples of how real events get twisted and turned into the laughable jokes of modern day conspiracy theories. You probably already have a ton of Illuminati stories in your baggage from your time on the internet. And I will here give you the actual account of which the gathering and its doings and intentions became unveiled for comparison. For the interested, I'm quoting some of Pawns in the Game from 1958 by William Guy Carr. As for a little context before we jump into the text. Many of us might not put a lot into religion, if anything at all. But to a real big part of the world, that is not the case. Most religions are open, attempting to convince or even force people to be a part of the better world. This makes them stand out in the crowd for all to see. This is not the case for Luciferians. To them, people need to prove by action and intention that they are like-minded. Only the deserving gets a spot among the few. I won't be going into the details of the beliefs here, but what you need to know is this society, if you can call it that, has remained mainly out of sight, even though their existence can be traced back to even before the whole Jesus thing went down. They are and choose among the brightest and best, and they are not what you would consider Satanists. Make no mistake. These people make any goat sacrificing Satanist piss their beds and cry for mommy. From the book. Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit-trained professor of canon law, defected from Christianity and embraced the Luciferian ideology while teaching in Ingolstadt University. In 1770, the moneylenders, who had recently organized the House of Rothschild, retained him to revise and modernize the age-old protocols, in quotation, designed to give the synagogue of Satan ultimate world domination so they could impose the Luciferian ideology upon what remains of the human race after the final social cataclysm by use of satanic despotism. Weishaupt completed his task May 1st, 1776. The plan required the destruction of all existing governments and religions. This objective was to be reached by dividing the masses, whom he termed the goyim, meaning the human cattle, into opposing camps in ever-increasing numbers on political, racial, social, economic and other issues. The opposing sides were then to be armed, and an incident, in quotation, provided which would cause them to fight and weaken themselves as they destroy national governments and religious institutions. In 1776, Weishaupt organized the Illuminati to put the plot into execution. The word Illuminati is derived from Lucifer and means holders of the light. Using the lie that his objective was to bring about a one-world government to enable men with proven mental ability to govern the world, he recruited about 2,000 followers. These included the most intelligent men in the field of arts and letters, education, the sciences, finance and industry. He then established the lodges of the Grand Orient to be their secret headquarters. Weishaupt's revised plan required his Illuminati to do the following things to help them accomplish their purpose. 1. Use monetary and sex bribery to obtain control of people already occupying position in high places in the various levels of all governments and other fields of human endeavor. Once an influential person has fallen for the lies, deceits and temptations of the Illuminati, they were to be held in bondage by application of political and other forms of blackmail, and threats of financial ruin, public exposure and physical harm, and even death to themselves and their loved ones. Number 2. Illuminati on the faculties of colleges and universities were to recommend students possessing exceptional mental ability, belonging to the well-bred families with international learnings for special training in internationalism. This training was to be provided by granting scholarships to those selected. They were to be educated, indoctrinated, into accepting the idea that only one world government can put an end to reoccurring wars and tribulations. They were to be at first persuaded and then convinced that men of special ability and brains had the right to rule those less gifted. Because the goyim, the masses of the people, don't know what is best for them physically, mentally and spiritually. Number 3. Influential people trapped into coming under the control of the Illuminati, and the students who had been specifically educated and trained were to be used as agents and placed behind the scenes of all governments as experts and specialists, so they could advise the top executives to adopt policies which would in the long run serve the secret plans of the one-worlders and bring about the ultimate destruction of the governments and religions they were selected or appointed to serve. Number 4. The Illuminati were to obtain control of the press and all other agencies which distribute information to the public. News and information was to be slandered so that the goyim would come to believe that the one world government is the only solution to our many and varied problems. Because Britain and France were the two greatest powers at the end of the 18th century, Weishaupt ordered the Illuminati to foment the colonial wars to weaken the British Empire and to organize the Great Revolution to weaken the French. The latter he scheduled should start in 1789. A German author named Schweck put Weishaupt's revised version of the age-old conspiracy into book form and named it Einig Original Scripten. In 1784, a copy of this document was sent to the Illuminatists Weishaupt had delegated to foment the French Revolution. I'm gonna cut in here with a personal note. Now, if this isn't irony, I don't know what is. Continuing on. The courier was struck dead by lightning as he rode through Ratisbon on his way from Frankfurt to Paris. The police found the subversive documents on his body and turned them over to the proper government authorities. After careful study of the plot, the Bavarian government ordered the police to raid Weishaupt's newly organized lodges of the Grand Orient and the homes of some of his influential associates, including the castle of Baron Sus in Sanderstoff. Additional evidence thus obtained convinced the authorities that the documents were a genuine copy of a conspiracy which the Synagogue of Satan, who controlled the Illuminati at the top, planned to use wars and revolutions to bring about the establishment of one kind or another of a one-world government, the powers of which they intended to usurp as soon as it was established. In 1785, the Bavarian government outlawed the Illuminati and closed the lodges of the Grand Orient. In 1786, they published the details of the conspiracy. The English title is the original writings of the order and sect of the Illuminati. Copies of the conspiracy were sent to the heads of church and state. The power of the Illuminati was so great that this warning was ignored, as were the warnings Christ had given the world. The Illuminati went underground. Weishaupt instructed his Illuminatis to infiltrate the lodges of the Blue Masonry and form a secret society within secret societies. Only Masons who proved themselves internationalists, and those whose conduct proved they defected from God, are initiated into the Illuminati. Thus, the conspirators used the cloak of philanthropy to hide their revolutionary and subversive activities. Though this was far from the first nor the last time the Luciferian agenda was exposed, this does point out the extent of their influence within the society by the lack of response to their actions, which has become more the rule than the exception these days. Another testament to their arrogance. For many years, maybe still, the original manuscript the courier was struck down with was on display in a Masonic lodge tied to the British Museum, which is in possession of it now. What then happened is not for this video, but one thing I do know. I see the same mentality and the same agenda pushed today, forcefully and willfully, on the global scene. Thanks for watching.